Good morning, buenos dias. I hope you are well, staying positive and focused on what you can control. Welcome to Cafecito con Ace. Please join us in dropping in the chat, tuning in where you're tuning in from. We want to know where you're located, and also use this as an opportunity for everyone tuning in to network in the chat, comment, get to know one another, and ask questions. We are going to have an engaging conversation. My name is Patricia Mota, and I am serving as President and CEO of HACE, the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement, national nonprofit organization whose mission since 1982 is to positively impact workplaces by cultivating the pipeline of Latino talent, providing our community the insight, access, and support to be successful in their careers. And happy AAPI, Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and also it's Mental Health Awareness Month. Some key announcements for ACE. If you have not seen it yet, ACE has officially launched our merch store. And because this year we celebrated Mujeres de ACE 15th anniversary or quinceañera, there's a quinceañera limited edition mirror and other products that are on there. So make sure to check it out. I know my colleagues are dropping it in the comment section. And also, if you did attend the summit and you haven't taken our survey yet, you get entered in a raffle to receive a pin and also some other goodies as well. So make sure that you take the summit survey as well. And then two more things that I have for you is our Chicago Auxiliary Board is having a summer soiree networking event. So if you're in Chicago, you want to meet in person, this is taking place on June 3rd. And then also tomorrow, they're hosting a mental health awareness webinar. So make sure to sign up there. Everything's on the website. Links are being dropped in the comment section. I know I ran by that fairly quickly, but make sure to check it out. I want to get into our charla with our special guest today. Please join me in welcoming Krizel Rodriguez, who's the CEO of Leading Lady Network, or Coach Krizel. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. I'm excited to have this conversation with you because you've been part of ACE in many facets, especially the last year. But first things first, and I ask you, Krizel, but I'm also asking our guest joining us today, is how do you like your cafecito prepared or your morning beverage of choice?
So I have it prepared my favorite way. It is coffee with a little bit of cream and Splenda and a good book. That's how I do it every day.
And a good book?
And a good book. It has to have a good book. Yeah.
Awesome. We got to add, the sugar. It's been interesting to learn all of the varied preferences that are out there with the cafe, what's joining, what folks are doing. And the other neat thing about this conversation is just getting to know people, right? And so I would love, and again, I've mentioned to you earlier, I've been seeing you around and so thankful that you're part of the ACE community because you've been, we couldn't do it without folks like yourself. So tell us about your cultural, your professional background and how you got to where you are today.
Sure. Well, honestly, it's been an honor to work with ACE, and I truly believe that ACE has been a great facet in helping my career boom this last year. So I truly appreciate that. But I am been in leadership development for over 15 years, been a coach for over 10, and I come from a background of trainers and educators. My parents were migrant workers out of Illinois and Minnesota, and our grandfather instilled education into us. So they took that opportunity and got educated, and they've passed it down to us. So I have dedicated my life to helping others, educating others, and helping people learn. So I'm very fortunate to be able to do what I love to do in work and in business and even in the nonprofits and the philanthropy that I get to do.
That's a wonderful story. And you're also an alum, right, from the Mujeres de ACE?
I am. I am.
And so
Yes.
you participated in that program, and then you're also one of when we say we partner with you throughout the year, you're leading some of our cohorts right throughout the year, some of our workshops and things. So just want to make sure people know that all the great things that you're doing with ASE as well. And so I want you to tell us more, because this is another exciting thing that we all need to hear about. Is you were recently able to share your story on not just any stage, but the TEDx stage, Krizel. I hope you all caught that, right? So tell us about that experience and the Taylor coaching method that you presented. And then I have another question, like how you got to the stage, because I know folks are wondering about that as well.
Sure. Yeah. So it's actually been a dream of mine for many, many years to do a TEDx talk. And so I knew eventually I would be able to do it, but I really focused on this year. My New Year's resolution was to get on the TEDx stage. I wasn't expecting it to come so fast, but it did. But I was prepared. Like I said, it was something that I've been ready to do for a long time. I even told the cohort that I led, the Mujeres de HACE cohort, that one day I will be on the TEDx stage. So I applied and I was one of the people chosen. And so I was really honored in that I got to share the Taylor coaching method, because that is something that I've created. It's a method of coaching that anyone can use so that they can have a conversation with anyone who needs coaching. And I named it after my daughter, whose name is Ruel
Mm,
Taylor. And so it stands for talk, ask, investigate, listen, organize, and then review and repeat. And so it's just so that anyone can have a coaching conversation. There's many opportunities out there. People want to set goals, they want to do better. And if we all learned how to have that conversation, we can help push each other to achieve those goals and realize our potential.
so much intention that you just threw out there, Chriselle, in terms of putting it out there to the universe. You shared it with people. You made it a goal for this year. It's May. You've accomplished that, right? So early on in the year. So congratulations on that. And I think
Thank
it's
you.
powerful, because I think it may seem like it, part of it is the intention piece, but then you got to put in the work, right? And so of
Right.
course you put in the work, you did the application, you did what you need to do, and then you shared also your Taylor coaching method, which there's also intention behind how you named it and how you got to this. And so it's TAILOR, right? So
Right.
let's share again what everybody what that means, right? So that we can remember it, and perhaps we'll drop it too on the chat.
So actually, in my TEDx speech, I say you have to remember the word Taylor, and it's the Taylor that sews, not the Taylor that swifts.
Mm-hmm.
And it stands for talk, ask, investigate, listen, organize, and review and repeat. So basically, starting that conversation, asking those right questions, listening for those clues to get deeper down to where you investigate and
Mm-hmm.
really listen, and then start organizing a plan to start achieving whatever goals that person has. And then going back
Mm-hmm.
and reviewing, repeating, making sure that that plan is working out. So
Love
again,
it.
I wanted to make it really simple for everyone to remember so that we can have those coaching conversations.
Wonderful. I think the other thing that comes to mind, in addition to the intention that you set forth, in addition to the work that you've done behind not only getting to the TEDx stage, but to develop this model, the third piece I think that stands out for me is on the branding piece, right? There's a lot of coaches out there, right? And I think that for you to develop something specific, unique to what you're teaching in your training, that's intentional, that's easy to remember, that's easy to do. I think is so important for us to consider when we're building our own our own businesses, our own specific methods. So I love it. I love it. Let me ask you. And so, for those of you tuning in, we'd love to hear your comments, questions. We'll have some time for some questions here at the end. Krizel, as a coaching expert, what are the advantages of seeking professional coaching early on? And I think, it's so important that we become avid learners, right? No matter where we are in our careers, but it's especially critical when we're getting started, right?
Yeah, and I think honestly, the earlier you do it, the better. I think it's important to learn how to properly set goals, but not only how to set goals, to be accountable to them. I think a
Mm,
lot of times we miss the step of making sure that it's actually working, that we are doing something every day that will help you meet those goals. And so with the coaching conversations, you'll have that opportunity to be held accountable, to make sure that you are making a plan to overcome any obstacles that get in the way. And so I think that's why it's so important to introduce it even to elementary students all the way to
mm,
adults. I mean, a coaching conversation can help everyone of all ages, all backgrounds, and that's what I love so much about it. It's not prejudice or racist in how people can achieve their goals. With the right mentors and the right coach, you can achieve anything. So that's why I love it so much.
yeah. And I think too, what you said with the right mentors and the right coaches, right? It's important that you explore, right, in terms of what's the right fit for you as you're having conversations and meeting with potential coaches that you want to engage with and connect with. And I think um, we've with Adase, right, we've got a lot of connections and folks in the coaching business that we can refer. I have to plug in our monthly coaching sessions that are offered on Thursdays, the first Thursdays of the month typically, where we have one of our coaches that are volunteering their time with us to schedule and meet with you and kind of check in, and then you can build from that, right? So that's another opportunity as well. And so we'll open it up for questions, and as we get some of the questions that are coming in, Krizel, any advice for someone that's perhaps like how do they, aside from what I mentioned, do you have any other tips in terms of how do they find a coach? Um, mhm,
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think the best way is through organizations like ASE,
mm,
um, referrals, and just trying to really get to know the person. Not everyone's going to be the best fit for you, but there is going to
mhm,
be someone out there for you. And so, doing a lot of research, what is it exactly that you want to get out of it? There's a coach available for everything and anything that you need. As a matter of fact, I have a coach that helped me with my TEDx talk. And they were
mm.
specific for TEDx. So if
So
there's
see,
something
even
specific,
coaches get a coach,
that's
right?
right. Even coaches. That and I would be worried if a coach didn't have a coach. That would be your first red sign. So yeah, there's coaches available for everything. So just do your research, ask for referrals, make sure there's a lot of certifications out there. And I think some of the best ones are certified. So look for that ICF certification as well. So yeah, do your research, but there's good coaches out there for sure.
And then the ICF is the International Coaching Federation. So
That's
I know
right.
you can also Google that in case. So Melinda, our programs director, who I know Chriselle you work with as well, she
Yes,
asked, "Why
she's
did you
wonderful.
become a coach?"
So that's a really funny story, in that and it being Mental Health Awareness Month, I actually discovered coaching at a very low point in my life. I was very ill for a long time, and I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And I actually called my mom. I was doing treatments I was doing treatments every 6 hours, and I was at a point where I just felt horrible. I called my mom at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, just crying and saying, Mom, I need to do something different with my life. I feel like it's so stagnant, it's not going anywhere. And she offered me the advice of, why don't you learn something or something? And I took it to heart. Hung up the phone, went on the internet, and I Googled how to help people. And
Mm,
through that research, I discovered coaching, and I found a coaching school. I applied for the scholarship. I spoke to my now mentor,
mm.
and he gave me the scholarship. And that's how I discovered coaching. And I have just immersed myself in it for the last 10 years. And like I said, I love it. I've seen it do wonderful things for people. And that was really why I did it, because I wanted to help people. And not only did it help others, but it helped me in a place that
Mm.
where I really needed it. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, Melinda, thank you for the question. And Grisel, thank you for sharing, that story. I think many of us throughout our lives, um, it's a great example of how do you take a low point in our lives into a positive, and how are we, and many of us too want to help people, right? And I think it's like, there's different ways about being able to do that, and reaching out to people, doing your research, and seeing what that may be for you. I think is
Exactly.
so critical, especially now. I think everybody needs to fulfill our cup, and with happiness. And I truly believe that part of doing that is by giving, right? Whether it's your time, whether it's your advice, your subject matter expertise, financially, right? There's so many ways that we can give, and help make society a little bit better with our action, which sometimes it doesn't feel like it, but there's a ripple effect that truly does happen when you reach one individual at a time. So
Absolutely.
so hopeful for that. And so, Crystal, anything else you'll share about your experience? And we have Ruby, who's one of our other program leads, that has a
Hi,
question
Ruby.
regarding one of the common barriers to coaching is the investment. What would you say to those who might be on the fence for spending money on coaching? Great question,
That's a
Ruby.
great
Appreciate
question. Yeah, I think honestly, as someone who has invested a lot in my professional development, I think one of the greatest investments you can make is on yourself. And
it.
so if it's something that you truly want to achieve, and it's, that that coach is going to help you, uh, try to do it as much as possible. For me, when I first started, I didn't have a, a lot to invest. So I started out small, one coaching session at a time. And that it helped me build. Okay, now I've gotten advice from one person. Let me try to build on that. So I think honestly, the best thing that you can do is invest in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an investment that then has its returns, right? So I think that's what we've got to look at it as well, and look and see if there are any type of financial resources, or ask if the coach is able to work on maybe some sort of plan. The worst, sometimes that's the first step, right? Because we don't want to ask. And
Sure.
so
Or
asking for, I think, is critical.
or even doing the coaching corners, right? I mean, that's an
Yeah.
opportunity and something that is available to you at a low
Hmm.
cost. So there's definitely coaching out there that is available to you, that doesn't cost a lot. There's even free resources on the International Coaching Federation website as well. So there are opportunities out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, because even to get your ICF, right, you have to do a certain amount of hours
Sure,
of practice coaching. And so those are usually on the lower cost end, or maybe sometimes for free. So check it out.
absolutely.
So my last question for you is, what are you most hopeful for, or a positive story that gives you hope for the remainder of this year?
Well, so now I am working on a book about the Taylor coaching method. And this year is the big 4-0 for me. So I am going to be releasing that on my birthday as well later on this
Oh,
year. So that's what I'm hopeful for. And then just with everything that's gone on in the world, I think we're at that point where that light at the end of the tunnel is here. And so just seeking more opportunities to go out and meet people,
mm-hmm.
share the message. That's what I'm looking forward to. It's just that connection.
Well, thank you for being an inspiration for us this morning, for sharing your story. All of you all that are joining in, if you still have questions, continue to engage. We'll go back to the chat and make sure. And then you can reach out to Krizel on LinkedIn as well, and make sure to connect with her. Thank you so much,
Thank
Krizel,
you.
again.
I
Appreciate
appreciate you.
it. This has been fun. And to all of you joining in, thank you. Y hasta la próxima. Until next time, everyone. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.